Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the CPP for Beginners Java tutorial series, Java for Beginners. I am Damien, your host, and we are going to be talking today about... honestly, I haven't really decided. I just had an idea in my head, and I figured we would kind of run with it. So, the idea that I have right now on what I should be teaching is, I've talked a lot about different data types. I've talked about int, I've talked about... I don't know if I even introduced float, because float is really just about the same as double. But we've talked about double, we've talked about, character and things of that nature. So I want to expand a little bit on our understanding of how to use different math functions and how we can use them to figure out little things in our programs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new import. I'm going to do java.math.star. And .star simply means that I'm including everything in java.math. It's not the most efficient thing, but I would rather do that than have to handle a bunch of different things. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be allowing the user to enter a number, and we're going to check a few things. We're going to check, is that number even? Is that number odd? Is that number a perfect square? Meaning, if we take the square root of it, is it, a whole number? So if somebody entered 9, is the number 3? And we're going to have not a very complex if, but we're going to have a series of if statements that say, yes, this number is a square root, no, this number is not a perfect square, that sort of thing. Alright, so let's get started on this. First things first, let's kind of write ourselves a little commented section saying what we want this code to do. So first we're going to declare double. And I really can't type. I woke up briefly, not too long ago, and so I'm not really typing proficiently yet. And we're going to run some tests on it. And the tests we're going to check are, is it even or odd? Is it a perfect square? Is it a whole number? And so these, are questions that we want to know. And then let's say, is the number squared? Actually, I shouldn't say the number squared, because any number... No, not any... Okay. Is the number squared even? And so we'll go with that as our idea for now. So let's say double, and uh-oh, I deleted my little cheat line for scanner. Scanner input equals new scanner system.in. I think that's right. Yeah. I hate that line. That line, we have a lot of trouble. Okay, so we'll set a double, and we'll call it choice. Again, I'm not very good with variable naming. I never really have these amazing variable names until we get way later when, our stuff is more specific. So we'll do a system.out.println. And we'll prompt the user to enter some kind of a number here. We'll say, enter a value for the variable. And then we'll do choice equals input dot next double. So once that's done, we're going to want to run some tests on it. And so we have a few options here. We can use other variables, maybe. We can use a temporary variable to store things that we do to it. But I don't like having to define more variables than I need. I don't like doing that. So instead, the first thing we need to do is we need to check to see if the number is even or odd. So what we're going to do is we're going to make an if statement, and the way that you actually check to see if a number is even or odd is if you take the mod 2, meaning if you divide the number by 2, the modulus would be the remainder if you divide it by 2. So basically, if mod 2 is, we'll say, less than 1, because if we're dealing in decimals, I believe that it's a whole number, or it's an even number, as long as the decimal place, or the number before the decimal place is even. Somebody can correct me on that if I'm wrong. I mean, I don't think I've ever needed that distinction. So we'll say if choice divided by 2, and we'll put that in its own set of parentheses, or choice mod 2 rather, is less than 1, then we'll do a system.out.println. My typing is really atrocious right now. I apologize for subjecting you all to it. And we'll say the number is even prior to the decimal point. Okay. And then we'll make an else. So if it's greater than 1 or equal to 1, so if we were to enter, say, 3 divided by 2 is equal to 1 with a remainder of 1. So in that case, we would be able to discern, 3 is not an even number. So in this case, we'll just do a simple else, and we'll say system.out.println the number is not even. So, okay, that was pretty easy. So, let's see. Is it a perfect square? So, what we're going to do here is we're going to say if sqrt, which is square root, and we're going to put this in its own set of parentheses as well. I believe it's sqrt and then an open parenthesis choice, which means that we would be executing a square root on choice, and then we'll say equals 0. And I don't think I included the right math library here. Yeah, hang on, let me realize what I did wrong. It's something though. Aha, I found it. Yeah, I was using java.math. I should have been using java.lang.math. So that was my fault. Simple error. So the one thing that's kind of hard to keep straight about Java is that there really is about 1 million different things that you can import at the start of a program. So once you get those sort of right, you'll feel a lot better and more confident in your programming skills. Alright, sorry about that. I actually had a phone call. So, okay. You'll notice that due to my not including the right thing, I didn't call this in the right way either. What we actually need to do is do math dot square root of choice equals 0. And this means that it's going to look inside the math library, or the math package that we've included, for a sort of function that can handle this call square root. And then it's going to perform whatever that function says on our variable choice. And if the outcome of that is equal to 0, then we're going to do a system.out.println, and we'll say the number is a perfect square. And so then the else of that is going to be a simple system.out.println of basically the same thing, and it will just be is not a perfect square. And if you want, we can say the number plus choice plus is not a perfect square. We can do that. That's completely and totally valid, relevant, fine, you know. So I'll actually do this all the way up and kind of make it so we can look at our number. And the number... Okay. So now we're going to want to see if it is a whole number, meaning is it a number that is... Ooh, wow, I am running way late on time. Okay, so we'll do... We'll see if we can do both. I'm gonna have to rush a little though. So this is even. This is perfect square. And let's try to get in at least a whole number. So, okay, we'll do if choice mod 1. I'm going to need another set of parentheses around that. Is equal to 0. Then, if you guess that we're going to do this, or well, do that without the word not, then you are correct. And then the else of that is going to be pretty simple as well. And so lastly, we're going to have one final condition. Is the number squared even? And so that's going to be if. And so then we're going to call on math.pow. And then we're going to raise choice to the second power. And that is the syntax on what we're doing. That needs to be in its own set of parentheses. And then we're going to go one step further and put a third set of parentheses around it and do modulo 2 and close that. No, actually I don't close that set of parentheses yet. I should be, I think, one set of parentheses deeper than that even. And we'll say equals 0. So in this case what we're doing is we are taking the normal parentheses for an if statement. We are taking, it's actually easiest if you work your way out of parentheses, by the way. We're taking math.pow and we're raising choice to the second power. When you move out, you see that we've encapsulated that, and then the next set of parentheses out simply makes us get that value, and then we mod it by 2, and then we see if that is equal to 0. So, how much time do I have left? Ooh, I'm running way late. Okay, and so we'll say the number choice squared is even, and then the else on that should be is not even. Alright, and I don't know if I'm going to have time to run this. I might. Let's see if I can get this real quick. So we'll say 9. 9 is not even. 9 is not a perfect square. That's actually wrong. It is a whole number, and it is not. Or, well, I'm going to have to display what 9 squared is, but yeah, for now that looks good. It needs work. I'll be back later.